Help me! He has a weapon! The words weren't spoken. They were signed, hands moving fast, desperate. The lobby was crowded, a corporate event, people everywhere. The CEO stood near a single father. Her eyes were wide, panicked. Her hands moved in quick, sharp gestures. Security saw it, understood immediately. Reached for their radios. The single dad stood frozen, his hand gripped something metal, silver, catching the light. His daughter stood beside him, 7 years old, watching. In 3 seconds, everything changed. He went from invisible to dangerous, from father to threat. Security moved toward him, and his daughter started screaming. Not because her father was dangerous, but because no one was listening. No one could hear what he was really saying. His name was James Chen, 43 years old, deaf since he was 28. It happened at work, a construction accident, an explosion. When he woke up in the hospital, everything was silent. The doctors told him it was permanent. Total hearing loss, both ears. His wife left 6 months later. She said she couldn't handle it, couldn't adjust, couldn't live in silence. She left him with their daughter, Lily. She was 3 years old then. James raised her alone, in a world that wasn't built for him. He learned sign language, taught Lily from the time she could move her hands. By age 5, she was fluent. She became his voice, his interpreter, his bridge to the hearing world. At restaurants, she ordered for him. At doctor appointments, she translated. At parent-teacher meetings, she sat beside him and signed everything the teacher said. No 7-year-old should have that responsibility. But they didn't have a choice. James worked as a maintenance technician, commercial buildings, hotels, office complexes. He was good at his job, reliable, skilled, could fix anything. But people treated him differently. They talked slower when they saw his hearing aids. Even though he was deaf, not stupid, they raised their voices. Even though he couldn't hear them at all, they assumed he was less capable, less intelligent, less valuable. James had learned to ignore it, to keep his head down, to just do the work and go home. He carried his tools in a metal case, wrenches, screwdrivers, pliers, everything he needed. Lily knew the case well. She'd watched him pack it every morning since she could remember. Daddy's work box, she called it. She was proud of it, proud of him. James never complained, never fought back when people dismissed him, never demanded respect. He just wanted to provide for his daughter, to keep her safe, to show her that being different didn't mean being less. But the world made it hard. People stared when he and Lily signed to each other in public, like they were performing, like they were strange. Store clerks got impatient when he had to write things down or use his phone to type. Other parents at Lily's school avoided him. Didn't know how to interact, found it awkward. Lily felt it too, the isolation, the otherness. She defended him fiercely. If another kid made fun of the sign language, she got angry. If an adult was rude to her father, she spoke up. James told her not to fight his battles, but she couldn't help it. He was her dad, and he was good, and kind, and strong in ways people couldn't see. The job at Meridian Tower came in December. Emergency repair, heating system failure right before a major corporate event. James got the call at 6 in the morning. Lily was still asleep. He took the job, packed his tools, woke Lily up, dropped her at school, then drove to Meridian Tower, a massive glass building downtown. 30 floors, expensive, important. Security stopped him at the entrance. Name and purpose. James pointed to his ears, shook his head, pulled out his phone, typed, James Chen, maintenance, Erupted, emergency HVAC repair. The guard read it, nodded, waved him through. James rode the elevator to the basement, found the mechanical room, started working. The heating system was old, complicated, but James knew what he was doing. He worked for 3 hours, alone, in silence. Above him, the building was preparing for something big. He could feel the vibrations, people moving, setting up. He didn't know what the event was, didn't care. He just wanted to finish the bowing and get home to Lily. At 11:30, his phone buzzed. Text from Lily's school. Half day today, pick up at noon. James checked his watch. He had 30 minutes. He packed all his tools quickly, closed the metal case, headed for the elevator. He didn't know that in 30 minutes his entire life would change, that he would go from invisible to dangerous in 3 seconds, that his daughter would see him treated like a criminal, all because of a misunderstanding, all because no one took the time to listen. James picked up Lily at noon. She ran to the car, climbed in, started signing immediately. "How was work, Daddy?" "Good. Fixed the heating system at a big building." "Can I see?" "See what?" "The building. I want to see where you work." James hesitated. He needed to return his badge, drop off some paperwork. It would only take 10 minutes. "Okay, but quick. We need to get home." They drove back to Meridian Tower, parked in the service lot, walked to the main entrance. The lobby was transformed, completely different from this morning. Hundreds of people, decorations everywhere, a stage at the far end, cameras, lights, some kind of corporate event, product launch maybe, or annual meeting. James felt uncomfortable. This wasn't his world. Too many people, too much noise he couldn't hear. He held Lily's hand, headed toward the security desk to return his badge. That's when it happened. A woman stepped out of the crowd, expensive suit, perfectly styled hair, confident walk. She was the CEO, Catherine Wells. James didn't know that, didn't recognize her. She was talking on her phone, walking fast, not paying attention. She nearly ran into James. She looked up, annoyed, then saw Lily. Her expression softened slightly. James stepped aside, gestured for her to pass. Catherine nodded, kept walking. Then she stopped, turned back. She was staring at something. At James's hand, he was carrying his tool case. Metal, heavy, industrial looking. Catherine's eyes went wide, and then she started signing, fast, frantic, her hands moving in sharp, urgent gestures. James was confused. Why was she signing? Did she know sign language? He signed back. "I don't understand. What's wrong?" But Catherine wasn't looking at him. She was looking past him, at the security guards, and she was signing something very specific, very clear. "Help me. He has a weapon." James froze. Weapon? What weapon? He looked down at his tool case, the metal case, the one with his wrenches and screwdrivers. Oh no. He started to sign, to explain, to tell her it was just tools, but security was already moving. 3 guards running toward him. "Sir, drop the case." James couldn't hear them. He saw their mouths moving, saw them pointing. He looked at Lily. Her face was pale, terrified. He started to sign to her. "It's okay, just a misunderstanding." "Sir, drop it now." One guard grabbed his arm. Another grabbed the case. James held on, confused, trying to understand what was happening. They thought he was resisting. The third guard moved behind him, kicked his leg. James fell to his knees. Lily screamed, "Stop! He can't hear you. He's my dad." But the lobby was loud. Her voice disappeared into the noise. James was on the ground now, face pressed against the marble floor, hands being pulled behind his back. The tool case was open, tools scattered everywhere. Wrenches, screwdrivers, pliers, no weapons, just tools. But the damage was done. A crowd had formed. Phones out, recording, watching. James's cheek burned against the cold floor. He could see Lily's shoes. She was standing a few feet away, crying, signing to him. "Daddy, are you okay?" He couldn't answer. His hands were pinned. One of the guards was talking into a radio, probably calling the police. Catherine Wells stood frozen, her face white, hands over her mouth. She was staring at the scattered tools, at James on the ground, at Lily crying. And slowly, very slowly, realization was dawning. A woman pushed through the crowd, older, gray hair. She was signing to the guards, to Catherine, to James. She was a sign language interpreter. Here for the event. She'd seen what happened, and she understood. She knelt beside James, signed where he could see. "Are you okay? Do you need help?" James signed back. "Tell them, just tools, for work. I can't hear them." The interpreter stood, turned to the guards. "Let him go. He's deaf. He couldn't hear your commands. That's a tool case, not a weapon. The guards looked at each other, uncertain. He was reaching for something, one said defensively. He was trying to communicate, the interpreter said. He uses sign language. The crowd was silent now, watching, understanding, spreading. The guards released James, helped him up. Awkward, embarrassed, James stood slowly. His wrists hurt. His knee was scraped from hitting the floor. Lily ran to him, wrapped her arms around his waist, buried her face in his shirt. He put his hand on her head, held her. Catherine Wells stepped forward, her face stricken. She started signing. Slow this time. Careful. I'm so sorry. I misunderstood. The interpreter translated out loud for the crowd. James looked at Catherine, this powerful woman, this CEO. She'd been signing. She knew sign language, but she'd misunderstood him completely, had seen danger where there was none, had seen threat instead of father, had used her power and her fear to destroy him in seconds. James picked up his tools, put them back in the case one by one. His hands were shaking. Lily helped him, her small hands gathering screwdrivers. The crowd watched in silence, and James realized something. This would follow him, this moment, this humiliation. These people with their phones had recorded everything. Him on the ground, him being treated like a criminal, in front of his daughter, because no one took 3 seconds to ask, to check, to understand. Because in a world built for hearing people, a deaf man with a metal case was automatically dangerous. James closed the case, took Lily's hand, and walked toward the exit. Catherine called after him. The interpreter translated. Wait, please, let me make this right. James stopped, turned back, signed slowly. You can't, and kept walking. James made it to the parking lot before his legs gave out. He sat on the curb, put his head in his hands, breathed. Lily sat beside him, her hand on his shoulder, signing with one hand. Daddy, it's okay. You didn't do anything wrong. James looked at her, this 7-year-old child, trying to comfort him, trying to be strong. She shouldn't have to do this, shouldn't have to see her father humiliated, treated like a threat. He signed back. I know, baby, I know. But it didn't feel okay. It felt like every other time, every misunderstanding, every moment of being invisible until suddenly he was too visible, too dangerous, too different. His phone buzzed. Unknown number. He ignored it. It buzzed again and again. Finally, he looked. Text message. Mr. Chen, this is Catherine Wells, CEO of Meridian Corporation. Please, I need to speak with you. I owe you an explanation and an apology. James stared at the message, deleted it. Another text came. I know you have no reason to trust me, but please, give me 5 minutes. I'll come to you, anywhere you want. James closed his eyes. He didn't want to deal with this, didn't want her apology, just wanted to go home. But something made him stop. Something in her message. She was asking, not demanding, not using her power, just asking. He texted back. Coffee shop 2 blocks east, 30 minutes. I'll be there, thank you. James and Lily walked to the coffee shop. She got hot chocolate. He got nothing. Couldn't stomach anything. 20 minutes later, Catherine Wells walked in. No entourage, no security, no expensive coat. Just her. Looking tired, looking human. She sat down across from James, looked at Lily, signed. Hello, what's your name? Lily looked at her dad. He nodded. Lily, she signed back. That's a beautiful name. I'm Catherine. She turned to James, continued signing. The interpreter wasn't here, just them. I owe you more than an apology. I owe you an explanation. James signed back. You know sign language? I do. My brother is deaf. I learned when I was young. Then how did you mistake me? Catherine's face crumpled. Because I wasn't paying attention. I was on my phone, stressed about the event. I saw you, saw the metal case, and I panicked. You thought I was a threat. Yes, and I'm ashamed of that because I should know better. My brother faces this kind of assumption every day. James watched her carefully, looking for insincerity, finding none. Why did you sign weapon? Catherine took a breath. I saw your hands moving. I saw Lily signing. I thought, God, I thought you were threatening her, forcing her to stay quiet. I thought the case was, I don't know, something dangerous. James felt anger rising. So you see a deaf father with his daughter, and you assume he's dangerous. No, yes, I'm not explaining this right. She stopped, closed her eyes, started again. 3 months ago, my brother was assaulted. Someone saw him signing, thought he was in a gang, making gang signs. They attacked him. James went still. He's okay now, but it changed me, made me paranoid, hyper-vigilant. I see danger where there isn't any. That's not an excuse, James signed. No, it's not. It's a reason, but not an excuse. They sat in silence. Lily was watching both of them, understanding more than she should. Catherine continued signing. I let my fear control me. I saw you through a lens of panic instead of taking a moment to actually look, to see you were just a father, with his daughter, doing your job. And when you realized, when I saw the tools scattered on the floor, when I saw your face, when I saw Lily crying, I wanted to disappear, to undo it, to take back those 3 seconds. James leaned back. Those 3 seconds destroyed my dignity, in front of my daughter, in front of hundreds of people. I know. Your apology doesn't fix that. It does take you. I know that too. More silence. Lily tugged on James's sleeve, signed to him. Daddy, she looks sad, like she means it. James looked at his daughter, then at Catherine. He signed. What happens now? You go back to your CEO life. I go back to mine. Nothing changes. Catherine shook her head. No, everything changes, if you'll let me. What do you mean? I want to make this right, not just for you, for everyone, for every deaf person who's been misunderstood, mistreated, assumed to be dangerous. How? Catherine pulled out her phone, started typing, showed James the screen. It was a company memo, being drafted in real time. Effective immediately. Mandatory sign language training for all security staff. Accessibility consultants brought in to review all protocols. Community partnerships with deaf advocacy groups. Hiring initiatives. James read it. That's a start. It's more than a start. It's a commitment, and I want you to lead it. Me? You, as a consultant, advisor, whatever title you want, help us get this right. Help us build a company that doesn't make the mistakes I made today. James stared at her. You're offering me a job? I'm offering you a voice, a platform, a chance to make sure this doesn't happen to someone else's daughter. He looked at Lily. She was watching him, waiting. He signed to Catherine. I don't want your pity. This isn't pity. This is accountability. I have power. I have resources. I used them wrong today. Let me use them right. James thought about it, about every time he'd been dismissed, ignored, feared, about Lily growing up in a world that might do the same to her, about having the chance to change that, even a little. He signed. I have conditions. Name them. Fair pay, not charity, actual compensation. Done. Lily comes to meetings when I need her. She's my interpreter. Of course. And you train too. Everyone trains, including executives, including you. Catherine nodded, especially me. James extended his hand. Catherine shook it. Lily smiled, the first real smile since the lobby. Outside the coffee shop window, the city moved on. People rushing, living unaware. But inside, something shifted. Not forgiveness, not yet, maybe not ever, but understanding and a commitment to do better. James gathered his tool case, Lily's hand, stood to leave. Catherine signed one more thing. Thank you for giving me a chance I didn't deserve. James signed back. Don't thank me yet. Now comes the hard part. What's that? Following through. The next day, Catherine called an emergency meeting. All executives, all security, all department heads. She stood at the front of the conference room. No podium, no notes, just her and the truth. Yesterday I made a terrible mistake. I saw a deaf father with his daughter and I assumed he was dangerous. I called security. I had him restrained in front of his child, in front of hundreds of people. The room was silent. And I did this despite knowing better, despite having a deaf brother, despite understanding intellectually what it's like to be misunderstood. She pulled up a photo on the screen behind her. James on the ground, tools scattered, Lily crying. This is what fear and assumption look like. This is what happens when we react instead of think, when we see threat instead of humanity. One executive spoke up. Ma'am, security was following protocol. Then our protocol is wrong, Catherine said, and we're changing it today. She outlined the changes. Mandatory training, new hiring practices, accessibility reviews. The head of security objected. This is extreme. One incident doesn't mean we need to overhaul everything. Catherine turned to him. You're right, it doesn't. But decades of incidents do. Decades of deaf people being treated like suspects, like dangers, like problems. That ends here. What if there's actually a threat next time? Then we assess properly. We take 3 extra seconds to understand the situation. We ask questions before we act. She looked around the room. And if anyone in this room thinks that's too much to ask, you can leave. Now. No one moved. Good. Then we start tomorrow. James Chen, the man from yesterday, will be consulting. He'll be in this building regularly. You will treat him with respect. You will learn from him. Clear? Murmurs of agreement. Catherine dismissed them. Sat alone in the conference room. Her phone rang. Her brother. I heard what happened, he signed through the video call. News travels fast. You did the right thing. Owning it publicly doesn't undo the damage. No, but it's a start. Most people just make excuses. You're making changes. Catherine smiled weakly. I'm trying. That deaf dad, James, he agreed to help? He did. Then you got lucky. Most people wouldn't, after being humiliated like that. I know. Her brother paused. Make sure you follow through. Don't let this be performative. Actually do the work. I will. The next week, James came to his first official meeting. Lily was in school, so a professional interpreter joined him. The security team sat in folding chairs, uncomfortable, defensive. James stood at the front, signed while the interpreter spoke. I'm not here to punish you. I'm here to educate, to help you understand what it's like to navigate a world that wasn't built for you. He told them about his daughter, about being her father in public, about the stares, the assumptions, about that day in the lobby, how terrified Lily was, how powerless he felt. Some guards looked ashamed, others resentful, a few genuinely interested. You had 3 seconds, James signed, 3 seconds to assess, to understand. You chose force. We thought you were a threat, one guard said, because I was deaf, because I had tools, or because no one trained you to consider alternatives? Silence. James continued. Next time, take 5 seconds instead of 3. Look, think. If someone can't hear you, don't assume resistance. Assume communication barrier. He taught them basic signs. Help. Police, danger. Safe. Simple things, but important. By the end of the session, something had shifted. Not complete understanding, but awareness. One guard approached after. I'm sorry for what happened. James nodded. Then be better next time. I will. It wasn't absolution, but it was progress. Small, hard-won, real. 3 months later, James walked into Meridian Tower with Lily. No fear, no hesitation. The security guards saw him coming. Signed, good morning. James signed back, smiled. Lily squeezed his hand. They learned, Daddy. Yeah, baby, they did. He had an office now, small, but his, with his name on the door. James Chen, accessibility consultant. His job was simple. Review company practices, train staff, consult on deaf hiring initiatives. He worked 3 days a week, spent the other days with Lily, went to her school events, helped with homework. For the first time since the accident, he felt valued, not despite being deaf, just valued. Catherine stopped by his office one afternoon, signed through the window. "Can I come in?" "Sure." She sat down. "I wanted to show you something." She pulled up her phone, an email thread. Long. "We've hired 4 deaf employees in the past 2 months. Engineering, customer service, admin, all talented, all saying they never thought a company like ours would hire them." James read through the emails, felt something warm in his chest. "This is good." "It's because of you," Catherine signed. "It's because you listened." She smiled. "I'm still learning." "We all are." Lily came by after school that day. She loved visiting James's office, seeing him respected, valued. She drew pictures at his desk while he worked, sometimes signed with other deaf employees who stopped by. She was growing up seeing her father as powerful, important, worthy, not despite his deafness, but as a whole person. One evening as they were leaving, they passed the same lobby where everything had happened. Lily stopped, looked at the spot where James had been forced to the ground. "Does it still hurt, Daddy, when you remember?" James knelt down, eye level with her, signed. "A little, but less now." "Why less?" "Because something good came from it. We changed things. We helped people." "So it was worth it." James paused. "No, it shouldn't have happened at all. But since it did, I'm glad we made it mean something." Lily hugged him. "I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you too, baby, for being brave that day, for standing up for me." They walked out into the evening air, the city noise James couldn't hear, the crowds he'd once feared. But now he walked differently, head up, confident. Not because the world had changed completely, it hadn't, but because he'd found his voice. Even without sound, because he'd proven that understanding wasn't about hearing. It was about choosing to listen. And because his daughter would grow up knowing that being different wasn't being less, it was just being human. Catherine watched them leave from her office window, signed to herself, "Thank you for saving us from ourselves," and meant it. Here's what I learned from James and Catherine. Misunderstanding can destroy dignity in seconds, but understanding takes time, patience, humility. Being deaf, being disabled, being different doesn't make someone dangerous. Assuming it does makes us dangerous. James didn't want pity. He wanted what everyone wants: to be seen, to be heard, to be understood, not in spite of who he was, but because of it. The strongest people aren't those who never make mistakes. They're the ones who own them, who do the hard work of learning, of changing. And sometimes it takes one terrible moment to wake us up, to force us to see our blind spots, to remind us that listening isn't just about ears, it's about hearts. If this story touched you, subscribe to Single Dad Stories, because fathers come in all forms. Deaf, hearing, different. They all deserve the same thing: respect, understanding, dignity. Not because we pity them, but because they're human. Subscribe if you believe communication starts with choosing to understand. If you believe every father deserves to be seen for who he truly is, hit that button.